bright. Come take a seat on the beam. We gather where laughter meets. Every Tuesday's a trip. Come share your flair. In this warm embrace, there's love everywhere. Talk it out, all vibes alright. Nobody's wrong in our light tonight. So join us in this cozy space. We're talking it out, with love we embrace. No topics too bold, no dreams out of reach. Together we rise, that's the joy that we teach. From stories of pride to journeys of heart, we celebrate life, each unique part. A safe haven here, where spirits soar free. Together we rise, that's the joy that we teach. Let the colors shine bright in the warmth of the night. So join us in this cozy space. We're talking it out, with love we embrace. No topics too bold, no dreams out of reach. Together we rise, that's the joy that we teach. Let the colors shine bright in the warmth of the night. So join us in this cozy space. We're talking it out, with love we embrace. No topics too bold, no dreams out of reach. Together we rise, that's the joy that we teach. With each word we share, we bring the light. Joy the talk show, let your heart take flight.
Well, hey guys, I am so excited to be back in the studio. Welcome to season 3. Who would have thought, from a tiny little talk show on the radio to 3.5 years later over on a podcast? It's been such a wonderful surprise. And it's really turning into something that's become kind of a daily thing for me. I'm not saying it's a chore. You have to work at anything you do, but I am saying that it's just been such a wonderful thing that I didn't even know I wanted in my life. So I want to start off by saying that I'm genuinely grateful to be back behind the mic for another season of the SayCo Show. Taking time away always has a way of sharpening perspective, and returning now feels both familiar and really exciting. This space has always been about curiosity and conversation and connection, and it's energizing to step into a new season that the foundation has already been placed, so that feels really comforting. Looking ahead, I'm so excited about what's coming next. The guests that we'll be welcoming and talking to, the ideas that we'll be exploring, and the chance to keep building a community that thrives on delightful dialogue within the queer community as well as our allies. This season feels full of possibility. Seriously, I really feel that. And I'm looking forward to learning alongside you, growing together. After all, it's your show. I've always said that. And seeing where these episodes will lead. So here's hoping for a very steady signal, really good, positive conversations. And here's to that quiet magic that happens when people really do tune in and listen and share and like and follow. So we will see what season 3 brings along. I see some people are already texting on our line. I want to remind everyone of our texting line. We're live in the studio right now, 615-805-4363. So one more time, if you want to talk about tonight's topic or about anything, just call us right now, 615-805-4363. If I can't answer, and since we're live on the air, please leave me a text or a voicemail. If you want to write into the show, the SayCo Show at writeme.com. Before I get into what we're going to be talking about tonight and continuing on with how good it feels to be back from the holiday hiatus, I want to stop and say that I've been very, very careful about sharing things within my community. And also, I've been very, very careful about those taboo topics. I don't know why they're taboo, but religion and politics. The SayCo Show has always taken a stance that we won't dive deep into those. But this year, I believe, will be different. I don't want anyone to say, well, why is he not talking about what's going on? And it does have, a lot to do with the queer community. It has to do with every single American, whether you're legal here or not, whether you were born here or not. Everything that's going on in our country right now somehow connects to each of us. And so I want to say that I stand with the people that are trying to fight the current administration. This show is not for Trump or MAGA or any of his absolutely ridiculous followers. And for the leaders of around the world that are denouncing everything that is going on, I completely agree. There's so many of us. 2/3 of Americans completely agree with the rest of the world. We are shattered. We are hurt. In some weird way, we're embarrassed. And it's really hard to be in a country where it does not feel like the United States. It does not feel like home. It does not feel like the great place that I was raised in. Now, going forward, I will give my opinion on certain topics if it pertains to the queer community. But I'm not going to be as careful with religion and politics because that's kind of where we're at now, guys. If you watch any of the news sources, which I don't like watching any of the news locally because it's all scripted and fake. I don't agree with anything they're telling us. Everything is super artificial, and I don't believe we're getting the full conversation. We're not getting the world news like we used to. I can definitely see a difference in the news quality. And so I talk to people that live around the world. I talk to Canadians. I see my friend Todd is in the room tonight. I talk to Canadians. I talk to people in Europe. And what they are telling me from the outside of the bubble looking in is absolute shock and awe and disgust. And I couldn't agree more. I know that there's a very famous Canadian blogger that made a video that kind of rubbed people the wrong way and said, you can't apologize anymore. Sorry, we're Americans. We didn't vote for him. He was kind of going down that road. I see where he's coming from, but I still want to say to the people that listen to me outside of my country that I am not for this man. I never have been. And I know a lot of people, especially since I live in a Republican-red state in the South, where it's very, very extreme conservatism. I know people that are losing their farms and their crops, have completely changed their minds about this man, this monster, in my opinion. And he must be stopped somehow. I am in such shock, guys. I really am. But we also want to remind everyone about what today is. January 6th is it's still fresh for us. January 6th with the insurrection was really the beginning of the meltdown, and it was such an eye-opener for a lot of us. And there were many people that were extremely hurt and killed at our country's capital. And so I want to take a moment and give a moment of silence to the brave men and women who were hurt and killed that day on January 6th. So let's give a few seconds to that. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do a silent prayer there. And I wish their family all the best, prayers and healing. It's still such an ugly thing in our history, but we move on. And so after the chaos, guys, after everything that's going on in our country right now, you can feel it in the air. You really can. I thought the best way to come off of holiday hiatus, the best way to maybe lift the spirits of people that have a hard time with depression throughout the holidays, is to do a fun light show. And what I mean by that is we're not going to be talking about cancer. We're not going to be talking about anything heavy like that. We're going to talk simply about collections and specifically dolls tonight. We have done previous doll episodes when I was on the radio and when I started the podcasting. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great to have an easy show and put what is happening in our country and the world, quite frankly, on hold? And let's just have another show of lighthearted funness and fabulousness. And let's turn to collections. So I'm going to ask y'all, whether you're here in the chat room or you're texting me through the SayCo Show phone number, I'm going to ask you, do you have a collection? And specifically, do you collect toys, dolls, or do you have a large amount of your childhood toys that have remained with you as an emotional connection to the happiness of childhood? So if you are someone that collects, I would love for you to call in or ask to be asked, to join live here on the show. And I'd love to hear about it. Okay, Derek. Derek is such a good close friend of mine from Ohio. Derek is saying he collects Hot Wheels and marbles. Now, Derek, I used to collect cars when I was younger, when I was a kid, and they were the cars that were, I'm dating myself now because I'm 51. We didn't really have remote control vehicles back then, but we did have vehicles that had a long cord, and then you had a remote in your hand. So you had to stay up with it. You had to, stay close to them. But I had one that was electric blue. And if you didn't want to use the remote for it to do certain tricks and turn either way, etc., you could disconnect the cord, pull back on the wheels and let go, and it would go flying. I mean, super high fast. Now, to me, I still have that car in storage. To me, it was like lightning. That car could have just left behind flames. Maybe now if I did the pull and release, maybe it wouldn't be that fast. But to me as a kid, it was so fast. Oh, you had one. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to talk about this. But I also collected marbles. I loved crystals and pieces of glass and mirror and reflections and rainbow prisms. And so marbles were right up there with me. And marbles are big in the Italian lineage. I'm part Italian. And so I grew up with toys that maybe weren't very American. I grew up playing Scopa, which is an Italian card game. And it has spread throughout different parts of the world. But I grew up, playing with Greek and Italian toys and customs and whatnot. One of my major collections that has just always been a constant with me is Patsy Cline. I've told y'all, you guys know this that are followers of the podcast. Patsy Cline has been my lifelong collection. And music to me is medicine. I've said that before. And so I have always collected Patsy Cline. And I've collected weird things of Patsy too. It could be a knife where her name was engraved, or a piece of the plane that she crashed and died in. I have weird aspects of my collection, but it's still part of the whole Patsy Cline story. So sometimes people go, "Oh my gosh, your collection is a little extreme." Well, I'm so sorry, but it's my collection. And I've collected things through the years, including dolls. Now, I know a lot of our listeners are not queer and not in the community, but I know we have a lot of allies that would understand. Oh yeah, Jax, absolutely Jax. I played that with my sister. Um, Dolls in my house, because, growing up Greek, Spanish, Italian, was considered, emasculating. So I wasn't allowed to, have a doll of my own, even though I wanted a doll of my own. I remember asking for dolls and, pointing out the cool new ones that were out on the market. And of course, my family would say no, but they'd go and buy them for my sisters. So in a weird way on the side, I still was able to hold those dolls and play house with my sisters and whatnot. And so that's kind of how I got my fix. But since I couldn't have dolls, I turned to action figures, especially the action figures that were 12 inches or longer. And I had the whole collection of Star Trek, and they were, I believe, 13 or 14 inches tall. And then I had like specialty dolls that you were like, is that an action figure? Is that something to do with a movie? And so I would collect those kind of dolls and actually play with them like they were baby dolls, even though my family thought I was playing with action figures. It's amazing how queer kids adapt for the boundaries that are set for them. And we could go down a wormhole with that, but I'm sure a lot of you listening tonight can agree and understand where I'm coming from. There are a lot of little boys that wanted a doll, that wanted to take care of a doll, nurture a doll, which I don't really think that is anything odd or strange. Men grow up to have families and hold a baby when their wife has the baby. Men hold the baby and cuddle them and love on them. And so I'm so glad recently you will see a little boy with a baby doll or some sort of doll. And I think that's beautiful because it's just basic human love at any age that wants to cuddle a little tinier human in their arms. I don't think there's anything weird about that. I was allowed to play with my sister when she was playing Barbies, as long as I would turn the conversation around. So instead of playing Barbie and I was Ken and going down that road, I would play Barbies with my little sister if there was a terrorist attack or Barbie was in a bank and a bomb went off. As long as I made it manly, I would put them all on top of a TV tray and crash the TV tray and say that it was a drastic, horrible plane crash. And my sister would sit there as the reporter asking which dolls made it through the crash. I know that sounds twisted. I know it sounds weird, but in some way, I was in bliss, even though I had to make it a boy thing or a drastic, dangerous thing. I was still playing with Barbies. And so you learn how to adapt with the rules of, of the rules that were presented to you. Derek says you had to play dolls somehow. And, I have these memories of my sister going, did she make it? And I would go, oh no. And we would have a box of tissue and I would cover each body with the tissue. And she would kind of vote and gamble on which dolls would make it out of the fire. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But tonight, we are talking about a very interesting doll. Now, this doll is not in my personal collection yet. They go for thousands of dollars. Now, sometimes you can get on eBay or Etsy or Marketplace or what have you on these online auctions, and people will not know what they have. I've heard stories of people just walking into Goodwill and finding them, and people just don't understand how rare they are. We are talking about Little Miss No Name. For those of you that are texting me off app, and those of you here in the app, if you know this doll or you remember this doll, shoot me a message. I'd love to know how many of you know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't want you to leave the show, but if you can listen and Google it, you can go and watch the little commercials that are on YouTube. But I do have transcripts of what's on YouTube for the commercials back then in '65. So I'm going to read those to you. But basically, she was marketed as a little girl that has a tear going down her face. She's quoted as saying, "I need someone to love me. I am so tired and cold. Please take me home with you, and I'll be yours to hold." And the box, she's enclosed in a snowstorm, guys. I mean, this is absolutely pitiful. The box she was enclosed in, she was created by Hasbro in 1965. There's an actual slushy snowstorm all around her. She has no gloves, no hat, no scarf. She is in a ragged, burlap little sack dress with patches. And in the back of the dress, it is safety pinned. The doll does not even have a button. That's how poor and neglected they wanted you to think this little girl was. She has this huge plastic prism doll rolling down her face. She has giant, giant eyes, brown eyes. And the box looks like the snowstorm is blowing snow into her face. Her hair is unkempt. And on the front of the box, it says, "I need someone to love me. I want to learn how to play. Please take me home with you, and please brush my tears away." And the tear was removable. So I guess she was crying in the snowstorm by a fire pit that had no fire. But as soon as you get her home, you could love on her, maybe change her dress, comb her hair, give her a bowl of porridge, and then remove that giant tear coming out of her face. So I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. And we've talked about my doll collection. I've got some dolls that I have made that pertain to certain movies or Twilight Zone or queer dolls that came out through the years. I have a lot of Barbies, but they have to have a connection with me. And so I can't just say I'm going to go and buy some Barbies today. There has to be a connection. It has to be a movie Barbie. It has to be some sort of doll that's released with a book or a movie or something. But this doll is not in my collection. But God willing, someday, if I have $2,000-3,000 to drop, I'm going to buy one. They are extremely rare. They were only mass produced for a good year, year and a half. Some of the later dolls were produced with a penny. She has this huge hand that's outstretched and turned. So if you put her arm up a little bit, she's got this hand that's reaching out to you. She almost looks like she's begging. And some people say that their doll came with a penny that would rest in her hand. So I guess someone walked by and said, "Look, kid, I'm not going to give you shoes. I'm not going to get you some warmth, but here's a penny. Here's a shilling." Now, some of these commercials are hysterical. One of the commercials goes like this. Here's transcript 1, and you can find these on YouTube. It says, it starts off with her in the slushy snow. The wind is blowing, and she's crying. And let me know if you can see the picture I'm about to add to the show here, guys. If you can see this, let me know. I'm going to post some pictures so you guys know what I'm talking about, especially now that I am going to read these transcripts. So the first one goes like this. Have you ever wanted someone to take care of someone that needs a lot of cuddling and affection? Someone that you can give your love to? Well, that someone is Little Miss No Name. She's the doll who needs more loving and care than any other doll you've ever had. Look, she has a tear on her cheek. Little Miss No Name is sad because she doesn't have a pretty dress. She doesn't have any shoes. She doesn't even have a name. But she does have big brown eyes. And most of all, Little Miss No Name has a heart filled with love. Please give her kisses and hold her close. Take your comb and make her hair look pretty. Little Miss No Name needs a home and all the love that you can give her. You'll find Little Miss No Name standing in the snowstorm box at your local toy store. Please take her home today. Now, is that the most pitiful thing you've ever heard? It's hysterical, guys. When I came across this, I just busted out laughing and I said, this has got to be a show. It has to be. She is just so pitiful. I'm glad you can see these pictures that I'm posting. I just think it's the most pitiful thing ever. Now, some people collect dolls that are extreme. And when I mean that, I mean some dolls come apart and they're like a flask or a decanter. Some people collect dolls that will poop themselves. Some people will collect dolls that look dynamic or carry a knife or look like Wednesday Addams. I'm not knocking it. Whatever you collect, God bless you. But some people feel that these dolls have aged in the eyes. And when you look at this doll, her big brown eyes that are put in the slogan, some people say that they have faded with time and her eyes have turned red or black. So much so that doll collectors, specifically doll collectors that will drop $3,000 or $5,000 for these dolls that are in the box in mint condition, they've gone to the lengths of 3D printing new eyeballs for her or asking creators to create new eyes for her. So you will see this doll all over the internet for purchase. And she will not have the brownish red eyes. She will have blue eyes or green eyes, or she'll have complete eye makeover. People have put eyelids on her and have wiped off the sad eyebrows and whatnot. And they've wiped all that off and they have completely restored her in a happy way. And I guess it's kind of a full circle moment for these doll collectors. You get a doll that's in a rag and they've put shoes on her. They've combed her hair. Some people shaved the doll's head off and put in soft, pretty hair because the doll was marketed with a mop. I mean, the doll, her hair looked like she was already 50 years old. So it's really Mark here is listening live and saying, I've never seen this doll before. I know. When it popped up on my doll feed, I was like, wait. What doll is this? And I started doing some research. Okay, so before I read the other commercial transcript, let's go over and read some more information about this. So like I said, it was released in 1965. And it was by the Hasbro company. They've had some great success, guys, with their toys and running their business. However, flops have happened, and this is certainly one of them. I came across an article. I do not own it. Someone said his name was Todd Copey, and it was written in 2017. So what I'm about to read might be liner notes from his article. So I do not own this article. But he writes and says that obviously the marketing department was misguided. Whoever greenlighted this was definitely on a learning curve. It was designed to maybe kind of go across the whole Barbie explosion. Barbie came with alternate outfits and you wanted to dress her up because what's the slogan? Barbie can be anything she wants to be. So you would dress her up like a nurse, a flight attendant, an astronaut. And so that was kind of the hype. You wanted to own Barbie, but you also wanted to start collecting the doll clothes. Well, they went the absolute opposite. They made her bigger and taller and no clothesline. They didn't even put her in a buttoned up or zipped up little dress. Now, some of the doll collectors I came across said that she does have underwear and that the teardrop was removable. So I don't know if the teardrop had a little arm bracket that you could stick into her cheek, but I would assume if you made the doll happy at home and got her out of the snowstorm box, that if once you remove the tear, there would be a hole in her cheek. Am I wrong here? But anyway, so it failed on many levels. They did try everything, though. They put her on the box of cereals. They put her on the back of Borden's Dutch instant chocolate flavored mix that you would stir into water or milk. And that was seen all the way up to 1968. So we know from 65 to 68, you could still order her. I don't know if she was still on the store shelves through 68, though. If you are a doll collector and you know more information, I would love to hear it. But yeah, they were trying to do the opposite. You know, Barbie was so glamorous. And so they pushed the gamut and they tried to go the complete opposite way. Now, it was designed by famous doll inventor Diet DeAndre. And it said that they drew inspiration from the American artist Margaret Keane, whose work featured large-eyed children. Do you remember the movie that Amy Adams was in? And if you had an aunt that had eclectic taste or a grandmother, you would have seen these big-eyed doll pictures in little girls' rooms back in the day. And so I assume they were trying to do a spin-off of the artwork that really exploded. I mean, it exploded to the point where big stars, celebrities were requesting the artists to paint them in this way. Even Joan Crawford had one done. And so Margaret Keane, now you know her story, right? She was very shy and embarrassed. And so she asked her husband to say that he was the artist. And he was kind of the front man and the public person. But it eventually came out that he was not the artist, that it was his wife painting them and him pushing them and selling them. But these dolls seem to have been drawn from that inspiration. It's definitely a improvised doll. I mean, hello. Oh, welcome to Happy Love Year. Joined the room. So glad you're here. The doll came with no shoes. The dress is a burlap sack that has already 2 patches on it. And it is secured behind her with a safety pin. And this is not just an old doll that someone put a dress on and pinned it. I mean, this is how you bought the doll. I have no information if you could buy a better dress once you got her home and loved her and turned her frown upside down. I would assume that these people would have done that. I'm not sure. But anyway, her large, sad brown eyes, a drooping mouth, a mop of unkempt hair, was just absolutely a pitiful look to her. And then, of course, we've talked about the teardrop that could be inserted into a hole under her eye. Now, if you pulled out the doll's hand, it was molded specifically to be kind of on the larger side and flat. So it looked like she was begging. We talked about that earlier. And it appears that she's begging. Hasbro emphasized that in its advertising and print ads often played up that it was the doll with the tear. Some things say here, she doesn't have a pretty dress. She doesn't have any shoes. She doesn't even have a home. All she has is love. The doll packaging is of the doll standing outside in the cold. And the backstory is, please, someone love me. Please take me home. The doll's shelf life lasted just a few years, but while that she was on the market, Hasbro did pull out all the stops. They tried everything they could. They put her in newspapers, they put her in print ads, cereal boxes, etc. She really is a very rare, popular vintage toy collector item. And you can pay, guys, in the triple digits for her on online auctions. Again, if you want to talk about your doll collection or your toy collection, we're live here in the studio right now outside Nashville. Just call in here in the studio. If I can't answer, please leave me a voicemail or a text. Let me know what you collect. 615-805-4363. I have a second transcript here, guys. From one of the commercial segments that was found and placed on YouTube. I, of course, don't own the rights to any of this. And the second one goes like this. She's Little Miss No Name. She's lonesome and oh so blue. She's longing for someone exactly like you. She has no one to talk with, and she just sits and stares. She needs someone to hold her, someone who cares. Poor Little Miss No Name. On her cheek there's a tear. She's a sad little nobody, 'cause nobody's near. So won't somebody please, somebody do what someone should, and take home Little Miss No Name? Won't someone, won't you? You'll find Little Miss No Name waiting for you at a toy store near you. Ah, pitiful. Is that not the saddest thing you've ever heard? I can't get over it. She's just the saddest little thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know I love odd things. So she's definitely on my bucket list, y'all. I did go over to eBay and Marketplace and Etsy. You can find her, guys, online, starting as low as $200-300. Now, of course, she's probably missing her tear. She's probably had her hair ripped out or cut. She probably has no box. Now, if you keep scrolling to the bottom of these pages, you will find her slightly used and opened, but in pretty good condition with the original box. And you know, with any toy from way back in the day, if you have that box, it's probably worth more than what came in the box. So that's where you start getting into really big money, is if you can find her in the box, especially if you found one that came with a bonus penny to place in her hand. My God, isn't that sad? Oh my Lord, you want to take her home and get her out of the snowstorm, wouldn't you? Now, I did see some people saying that this was an expensive doll. Some people said that it was like $10.95 back in 1965, and that was a lot of coin to drop. So she was definitely up there in price. Some people think that she's going to be kind of on the smaller side, but I was watching some videos on TikTok of girls opening up their package of her in the mail, and they said, oh wow, she's a lot bigger and than they expected. So I've heard reports that she's between 12 and 15 inches tall. She is on the wider side, definitely with a bigger head compared to her body size. And then, of course, those famous giant eyes that are just going through your soul to please take her home and get her some oatmeal. My God, the thing needs to eat. What do you guys collect? I would love to know if you collect toys as an adult, or if you still collect dolls as an adult. Especially if you're in the queer community, I would love to know what you collect. I know there's a lot of guys in the community that collect nude dolls or dolls that have members, let's say. You know that I did a show over on Swell. I did another doll show over on the radio show that I had. And now on the podcast, I've done several doll episodes, including discussing my doll, who is simply called Gay Bob. And he was a doll that, let's just say, was all man. He came in a button-up shirt in his boxed wrapper was a closet. And when you unwrapped him and took him out of the closet, you could pull down his pants and get to know Bob very well. Bob was 100% all man down there. And so he was another big, rare collection, doll for people's collections because he was so different and rare, wouldn't you say? If you want to know more about Gay Bob, just go back and listen to that show that I did. I believe in season 1 of the podcast. I am so grateful to be back here in the studio for season 3. I can't even tell you how excited I am for the people that are saying that want to be on the show. I believe some of my greatest shows happened just a few weeks ago before we went out on holiday break. So go back and listen. Brandon South's show went off so well with y'all. The listeners said that they so related to listening to other queer men discuss their lives, their struggles, and their journey. We also interviewed local singer and artist Travis Dean. Go back and listen to that show. He has a new holiday song out. And then we also sat down and spoke with Anthony Wade. So if you're looking for something more tonight, maybe your show's not on and you're looking for something to listen to, go back and listen to some of those doll episodes, and then maybe even give a listen to some of the guys that I interviewed later in the end of season 2. I am so tickled that there's so many people texting me right now and listening in. I see several of you here in the chat room. I want this season to be a blessing, number one. I'm on all social media. It just hasn't really caught on, and I'll be honest, guys, I don't really try very hard on a lot of it. But I do my best here on Podbean. I am really pushing Blue Sky and the Clapper apps. Also, I want to remind everyone, I know it's kind of awkward to say, but my show is copywritten, and if sharing is going on, hey, I get it. Share the show. I would love for you to post the link to this show and other shows on your social media. I just want to make sure that I state that the show, belongs to me. It is copywritten material. I'm going to ask to please do not reuse or distribute without permission, all rights reserved. Guys, it's been so much fun. I could talk and talk and talk about my ideas about this doll. And if I ever get one that falls in my hand, I'm going to tell you all about it in a part 2 show. But yeah, it's been fun, guys. And I think we needed a lighthearted show. Everything that's going on in the world is just disgusting and pitiful. I don't even recognize my own country, but I do want to say this. There's always hope, right? There's hope within our community. There's hope for what is left of our country. And hopefully someday we can pick up all the pieces and become great again. I'm so sad for how we are being perceived. And again, I want to reiterate that the whole nation is not behind the current administration. And that's less than a third that voted are for these people in Washington right now. So just bear that in mind. I want to wish you the absolute best of 2026. I want you to go out and have an incredible year. Make your dreams come true. Look, that new boyfriend or girlfriend, that dream job, all that is not going to come walking up to your stoop and knock on the door. You've got to make it happen. So I want you to pursue your dreams. I want you to be as happy and blessed as you can be. And maybe, just maybe, you will like, share, and follow and come back every Tuesday night, live 7 Central, as we discuss all things queer on the show. And also, I want to say I'm so pleased and excited that there are so many straight allies that are listening and tuning in. One of the people that we are going to have on the show later in the month is a straight ally. And so we're going to be talking to more people that have big hearts full of love. We're going to try to be as positive as we can. And we're going to get through this together. And that's what my prayer is. Or if you're not a believer, that's what I'm meditating towards. And I'm just sending good, positive energy out of this microphone to y'all. And I really hope that the holidays were a blessing and that you got all those toys you wanted. And that you were blessed and happy. And for those of you that were alone, because I've been there. I've been alone on Christmas. I've been alone on Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve. I get it. I hear you. I understand. And how you're feeling, your emotions, where you're at right now in life is valid. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you. If you ever want to shoot me an email or a text, please do so. I would love to have more conversations with real people about everyday life journeys. So if you have an idea for the show, or you want to be here in the live studio audience, we would love to have you. Just shoot me a message and we'll get all that squared away. Go out, buckle up, be safe. Come back and see us again real soon here at the SayCo Show. I love you all. You guys are amazing. And I can't wait for next Tuesday.
In a world that's bright, come take a seat on the beam. We gather where laughter meets. Every Tuesday's a trip. Come share your flair. In this warm embrace, there's love everywhere. Talk it out, all vibes alright. Nobody's wrong in our light tonight. So join us in this cold